This is America's Workforce, the voice of working families in Northern Ohio. One solid hour of fact-finding features, in-depth interviews, informative news segments, and practical consumer reports. Tune in now and every weekday afternoon from 4 to 5 as we stand up for you, your family, and our community. Now, here's your host, Ed Flash Barrett.
Two featured guests. This is the first of the month. We got Jimmy Williams, who's General President of the Painters and Allied Trades. IUPAT.org is the website you'll want to go to. Jimmy's going to talk about the second Bill of Rights. Here's what's going on. This was recently announced by the AFL-CIO's President, Rich Trumka. Workers Stand for America. Mark this date on your calendar, August 11th, which is a week from this Saturday. It's going to happen in Philadelphia. Workers Stand for America. It's all to bring together working people, union and non-union, in the run-up to the Democratic and Republican National Conventions to urge elected officials to stand with working families in supporting a second Bill of Rights, promoting individual freedom and economic opportunity for all. In fact, let's go to the AFL-CIO website. Here's the kind of the public service announcement that they're using to promote this event.
I have the right to full employment and a living wage.
I have the right to full participation in the electoral process.
I have the right to a voice at work.
I have the right to a quality education.
I have the right to a secure and healthy future.
That's just an example of what this is going to be all about. Again, a major rally in Philadelphia, and it's all about the workers standing up for America. I'm going to read some more of it. We, the people, want to strengthen our nation as a beacon of equality, economic opportunity, and freedom for all. We hold these rights to be essential to our vision of America and believe that the principles contained therein should guide our government, business leaders, organizations, and individuals in our common goal of a just and fair society. How about this? A right to full employment and a living wage. I like that one. All Americans willing and able to work have the right to safe, gainful employment at a fair and livable wage. We call on all public and private sectors to invest in America's infrastructure and promote industrial development, maintaining job creation as a top policy priority. There's more: right to a quality education, right to a voice at work. Well, we certainly need that. Right to a secure, healthy future. But we'll get into it all with Jimmy Williams. They're going to be really, really involved, as all of organized labor is in this event. All right, let's go to our live line. Welcome Jimmy Williams, General President of the Painters and Allied Trades. IUPAT.org is the website you want to go to. Jimmy, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Flash. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to see a lot of construction going on. We're seeing some jobs popping up in Cleveland. And you're telling me that around the country, I guess you're getting some more work. Is that true?
Yeah, our hours, we monitor our hours around the country, and we're up 3 to 5% in a lot of our major markets, which is, very encouraging.
Very good.
So it's been a while. It's been a long run.
Now we just got to kind of keep this going a little bit and maybe even expand on it, right?
Well, I really, what happens in our industry is basically we kind of finish the buildings. So we kind of monitor the other crafts, the excavation and the steel, and all of the other trades are basically in the same position we are. So it looks like it's going to be a little steady employment not steady employment, but a recovery for quite some time.
Well, we certainly do need it, no doubt about that. Jimmy, I want to talk about what's coming up here in Philadelphia, August 11th, a rally in support of America's second Bill of Rights. Workers standing up for America. What's this all about?
Well, the building trades, in particular, Ed Hill from the IBEW, got together with a bunch of us and suggested that we put together a rally in Philadelphia for a second Bill of Rights. And in the Constitutional Center in Philadelphia, right by Independence Hall, on Friday night the 10th, we're going to sign, a bunch of general presidents are going to sign this second Bill of Rights, which include, it's real simple, it includes 5 planks. What we're looking for is what we just talked about, Flash. We're looking at full employment. We're looking at a living wage, the right, basically to fully participate in the electoral process. No blocking because you don't have an ID. No disqualification for anybody because of anything. But let everybody vote. The right to quality education, and the main right of all labor unions is the right to have a voice at work.
Mm-hmm.
And that Bill of Rights, along with the right to secure a healthy future, which covers benefits in health care. So it's real simple. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who is the head of the DCCC and a congressional congresswoman from Florida, is going to be there. She's going to sign it. And we have other politicians, and both Democrat and Republican, and they've agreed to sign this Bill of Rights. And it's really basic. But that's what we're going to start with. And we're going to see where our friends are. And we're hoping to draw, at least 30,000 people to this rally. And it's going to be on the parkway there. I mean, if you remember the movie Rocky, it's where he ran up the steps. That's where the rally's going to be, and it's going to be quite an event. So we're looking forward to it. I'm down here in Washington now. We're at the AFL-CIO meetings. It's going to be coming up there, and I'm really, really excited. It's the first time since Solidarity Day 2 over 20 years ago that labor, came together in one general area to rally without a state situation like we had in Ohio and whatnot. But there's going to be a big event.
So let me just run down what you're asking for. This is America's second Bill of Rights. Full employment and a living wage, number one. Full participation in the political process. A voice at work. Boy, we need that. A quality education for all. And finally, a secure and healthy future. Real simple. Real simple. These are the 5 parts of America's second Bill of Rights. And this is all going to take place in Philadelphia on Saturday, August 11th. That's a week from this Saturday. This is the first major action of the Workers Standing Up for America campaign. Now, Jimmy, did you invite all the members of Congress, and did invitations go to the White House as well on this?
No. They're both the Democrats and the Republicans are having their convention. This is our convention.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of let it slip out, and we've had congressmen call. I know I had a call from my dear friend, Congressman Brady, who's a congressman out of Philadelphia, who will be one of the speakers at the event. There's only going to be a few politicians that are allowed to speak.
Okay, I got you.
This is going to be about us. They're going to have their convention in Tampa, the Republicans, and in Charlotte, the Democrats. And this is a prelude to what we feel is our wants and our needs in order to put America back to work, in order to secure a future for the people that we represent.
I see. Okay. Now, is there going to be a formal process here? Are you going to take anything that comes out of that day on August 11th in Philadelphia? Are you going to take the Bill of Rights to these conventions and say, hey, this is what we want. This is what we're demanding to make for a better America?
You basically got it, but what we're going to do is push this down and out to our affiliates, and this will be part of our process when we endorse a candidate. We're going to ask them to sign our Bill of Rights. We're going to ask them to sign on these issues so that when they come up in Congress, if Congress ever really starts, passing legislation again, that they turn around and support the issues of all work in America. And this is not just for unions.
Uh-huh.
This is for all working America. This is for the families that need the protection. It's basically come down to a time where organized labor does not just support its union members.
Right.
It supports everybody, in our communities, and we're forming a great partnership with our communities in order to sponsor this Bill of Rights and to push it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing that because, and the important thing here, I mean, unions set the tone. We all know that, like, for instance, the wages at a non-union auto plant like a Toyota or a Nissan are very comparable to those. I mean, they may not be as good, but unions lift all the boats up. That's what it's all about. So you're inviting everybody here. This is for all America. If you're a worker, show up in Philadelphia on August 11th. Now, did I hear you right? You're expecting about 30,000 people there?
Yes, I believe we'll have at least that. Okay, now you don't like to shoot too high, but I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised that Saturday morning, because I know that we just tried to secure another 4 buses from our various district councils, and basically, the buses are kind of filling up. Where it's hard to get a bus to get to Philadelphia that day.
Yeah.
They're coming from Connecticut. They're coming from New York City, New Jersey, Washington D.C., Pittsburgh, and West Virginia. Just in my district councils, along with the Philadelphia, members.
I noticed in the press release that some of this was inspired by FDR's Economic Bill of Rights, which goes back to 1944. And we hear so much about the New Deal and how, what FDR did to rebuild America during the Great Depression. So it's got some history here. And I think it's a great idea. Was this something that has been brewing for a little bit? I mean, how did this whole thing materialize?
Well, basically, really, it kind of started, Flash, with the selection of the Democratic site for the convention. They gave no concern for the worker. They wanted to go to Charlotte. And, we really kind of got disgusted with it. And the building trades started the building trades. And we basically said, hey, we got to get somebody's attention here. Because, there's all the constituency groups, all the different, segments of America. Well, what about the working man? What about the middle class? What about the people that are looking for a future?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we decided to put this together, and not as a protest, but as a statement on, who we represent and who they represent. I mean, when you look at the makeup of Congress, okay, there's more millionaires than there's not in Congress.
Yeah.
And we don't represent millionaires, okay? We represent just the people that are trying to get by, trying to put an education together for their kids, send them to college, make it a little bit better for them, steady employment, benefits. I mean, these issues are not that, hard for someone to embrace. So this will be our litmus test, really, for, the politicians that knock on our door and they ask for our support. Not only in Cleveland, but, throughout the whole United States.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's real simple. It's real basic.
And one other flash. This will be a flash for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Today, at the AFL-CIO Executive Council, it's going to be brought up by John Wilhelm, Unite here, the General President, that we're going to purchase a union-made, American-made goods for all our Olympians, so that they won't have to, they'll get a souvenir from the labor movement of either their beret or some kind of garment made by Americans, made by union workers on behalf of the working people in the United States. So, that's going to come up today in our meeting. I spoke to John last night. It's a disgrace that, we have our great Olympic heroes over there, not only Phelps, but all of them. The gymnast won the gold medal last night. And you know what? They deserve to have something made in America by Americans, and we're going to make sure that they get that.
I like that. Great idea, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy, I'm looking at my clock. I have to take a break. By the way, if you want to get some more information on the August 11th rally, as well as the second Bill of Rights, it's all available online at workersstandforamerica.com. Go to that website, www.workersstandforamerica.com. Jimmy, can you stick with us for another segment? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
Good. I know there's something that you did. One of your district councils, 35 in Boston, had to come down on a subcontractor there. I want to get into that story. Also coming up, we have the Economic Policy Institute on raising the minimum wage in America. All on America's Workforce Labor Radio, 1490 WERE. Back in a few minutes. Let's go back to our live line. We have Jimmy Williams, who is General President of the Painters and Allied Trades, IUPAT.org. She is her website. We're talking about the second Bill of Rights for workers. I want to talk about what's been going on. Boy, we need this because when you find out what's going around the country, it's crazy. I'm going to focus on Boston. The Boston Marriott, I believe it's the Copley Place Hotel. This is District Council 35 of the Painters. What some subcontractor was stiffing the workers there on back pay. What can you tell us about that, Jimmy?
Well, we got a very, very active district council there, and basically what they did is they got their young lions up there in District Council 30. We call them our young lions.
Uh-huh.
A bunch of rank and file members to work on this, to find out, where the members were being shortchanged, and they went to their attorneys and they kind of put the petition in, and they got this guy to pay all the back wages. And this happens every day in the labor movement. That's why we need a voice for workers, okay, in the workplace.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we just talked about it with the with the labor summit. That's the reason. I mean, our members need to be heard from, and they need to have someone speaking for them. And this back pay issue up there, happens every single day, Flash.
Here's what really got my attention on this story. The state attorney general said the workers there were paid, and they're renovating a hotel, okay?
Right.
They were paid $4 an hour, half of the state's minimum wage. I mean, this is clearly downright criminal. There's no question about it.
It's and this is where we're not talking about just helping union workers. We're talking about helping workers, okay, to make sure they get the prevailing wage, make sure they get what they're entitled to. Because if we leave it up to some unscrupulous contractors, unfortunately, the workers don't have the ability to stand up to these corporations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm really proud of our district council up there in Boston. They've done a great job and great leadership there with Jeff Sullivan and just like Jimmy Wittroba there in Cleveland. It's a pleasure being the general president for this union because they definitely respond to the needs of workers.
Yeah, and as a result, they got $31,000 in back pay. Now, and I said this earlier, Jimmy, if this was a non-union operation, they would have got zero.
Imagine that Christmas present, when those checks went home.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's turn to politics. And this story caught my eye, and I thought of you because, you're from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Yeah, and I saw the story. It's about the voter suppression going on in the state of Pennsylvania, and about the voter ID law. And I understand it is under federal investigation, but the numbers came out just last week. We were talking about it. 43% of Philadelphia's voters, we're talking 437,000 people, may not be voting this November because of this photo ID. And altogether, collectively, in the state of Pennsylvania, we're looking at 1.6 million people that may not have a photo ID. Jimmy, I mean, what the heck is going on here? This is our right to vote. What has happened?
It's amazing. You see what has happened over the last number of years about keeping people away or trying to deny the people the right to vote. This voter ID law that was passed in Pennsylvania was proclaimed by the Speaker of the House, the head of the House of Representatives, that it was going to give the state of Pennsylvania to Romney. Now, are we passing laws for individual, party candidates? Or are we passing laws that are going to be helpful? Okay, if they were supposed to, prevent voter fraud, which, by the way, I think it was 0.00034% voter fraud was determined in Pennsylvania. The Committee of 70, which is like a group of concerned both Democrats and Republicans that protect the voters' rights in Philadelphia, they basically came out and said this is ridiculous. So it is in the courts. It'll wind up probably settled in I would say within the next month or so. And we're going to try, in case it don't happen, we're going to try to educate our people. And, again, that's part of our Bill of Rights that we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So here's the House Majority Leader. The guy's name is Mike Turzai. He says the new voter ID law is going to allow Governor Romney to win the state of Pennsylvania. And
that's a great way to present a bill.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Has he been chastised for saying that? Or I'm sure he didn't think that it was being recorded at the time.
Well, that's sometimes the beautiful part of everybody having cell phones and cameras and recorders and at these events. Because people do the gaffes, and that was a major one. And I'm sure that the Governor Corbett, who used to be the Attorney General in Pennsylvania, has got to be upset over this. You don't come out and say those things.
Yeah. You don't pass laws to benefit a certain candidate. It's just like redistricting. We're going through that fight over here in the state of Ohio. Voters are supposed to choose their politicians. It's not supposed to be politicians choosing who their voters are.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of the election here, we're under 100 days. I believe it's 97 days. What are the painters doing to gear up for this one?
Well, we will be doing a Flash on a bus tour again throughout the United States to try to generate, the energy of our members. Okay. It will be touring from California to Florida up, through the states, and it'll be all throughout the Midwest, and it kind of really gets our members going. And we're going to be working and trying to do the best we can. Well, we got a job to do, but you know what? We're going to do it.
Okay, Jimmy, I'm going to button it up there. I thank you so much for what you do for the sponsorship of America's Workforce here in Cleveland, and I know you're a busy guy. Good luck to you on that second Bill of Rights in Philadelphia, which again is 1 week from this Saturday. 1 week from this Saturday in the state of Philadelphia, workers standing up for themselves. Stand up for America, second Bill of Rights. Full employment and a living wage. Full participation in the political process, a voice at work, a quality education for all, and a secure and healthy future. This is what we want. Jimmy, take care. We'll talk to you next month, my man.
All right, Flash. Have a nice day.
You got it.
Talk to you, buddy.
Jimmy Williams, General President of Painters and Allied Trades. You want to get some more information on what they're all about? IUPAT.org.